I'm going to rank the latest lineup of DDJ controllers from Pioneer DJ / Alpha Theta. We will assess each controller based on who it's for, the pros, the cons, the price, and how they stack up against their competitors. We'll also compare them against similar models from brands like Numark, Denon DJ, and Reloop. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which controller is right for you. Let's go. Let's start with the DDJ6 Who is this for? For any beginners looking to get into DJing, the options for gear to start can be overwhelming. With so many different controllers and software platforms out there, it can be hard to know what to choose. However, the DDJ6 from Alpha Theta makes that crucial decision a lot easier. So this is for your beginners thinking about DJing, wanting to get started, wanting their first decision to not be a costly one. This might be the answer. Let's look at the pros of the Flex 2. Some of the pros on the Flex 2 are the Smart Fader, which I love for beginners. It allows you to literally start mixing straight away. It will help you out with the beat matching and transitioning when you move the Crossfader across. Really useful when you're starting out and you're just learning. It has these smart CFX buttons as well, which add a ton of different dynamic effects to your transitions and your mixes. The USB connection records microphone input directly, so that eliminates the need for additional hardware if you want to do something like online streaming when you've practiced a little bit. When you download the Rekordbox app, it enables smartphone and tablet performance right out of the box so you can get mixing straight away, and is compatible with a few DJ software: Rekordbox, Rekordbox Mobile, Algorithm DJ, and Serato DJ Lite, or you can upgrade to Serato DJ Pro. There are some downsides to the Flex 2. The Serato integration isn't as refined as Rekordbox, so the Smart Fader and the Smart Feature don't work the same way as they do inside of Rekordbox or Rekordbox Mobile when you're using Serato, so that is a bit limiting. It doesn't have dedicated loop controls like its big brother or big sister, the Flex 4 has, so you might spend a lot of time looking at the screen for various controls. And one thing that really annoys me is out of the box, you need an adapter if you want to connect it to some speakers, which is something you'll have to buy separate, which is a little bit annoying. The price is super affordable for an entry-level controller. It comes in at £159, which is around $200, which in my opinion is absolutely spot on for this type of controller. Now, there are some other options in this price point. You've got this. This is the Hercules DJ Control Mix Ultra, and it's made by the guys at Hercules, and it works with Algorithm DJ Pro, and it has a bunch of amazing features. Notably, it has 8 performance paths, similar to our Flex 2, but it does have neural mix, which is the same as stem separation. Another benefit in this product as well is the connectivity. It is literally Bluetooth plug and play. So you set up your phone, you click activate, and the track and all the software will start playing out of your mobile phone or your iPad, and the sound will come out. And it's just really smooth and easy to get started with this controller. Or you can have something like this. This is the Reloop Ready, which is a little bit larger, and it comes with the same 8 performance pads, but it has a little bit of a different layout. You've got the faders in the middle here, you've got different modes, you've got dedicated filter knobs, you've got track selection, you've got a browse knob in between as well, but it is a bit of an unfamiliar layout, especially if you're going to transition into higher end gear down the line. All in all, this is a great addition to the Alpha Theta / Pioneer DJ lineup. I think for the price, it's really hard to argue with its functionality, the fact that you can use multiple software, and a few cool features like Smart Fader and Smart CFX. Overall, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. And if you've just got this controller or thinking about getting it, I'll leave a getting started with guide in the description of this video. Next is the DDJ Rev1, which is a beginner style battle controller. The Rev1 is designed to mimic a traditional 2-channel battle style setup, and it is for your turntablists or your DJs wanting to get into scratching. I don't have one in the studio, but I did get to get my hands on it and drop a mix as soon as this product launched, and I really enjoyed this. Let's talk about the pros first. Like I mentioned, you've got the battle style 2-channel layout for your open format, scratch and turntablist wannabe DJs. It comes out of the box with Serato DJ Lite, and you can upgrade to Serato Pro. And of course, it's got dedicated performance pads for your hot cues, beat effects, and samples. Some of the cons are that it is a very, very niche product. You have to know that you're going to want to move into this style of DJing, otherwise the setup will not make sense for you. It's also quite plasticky, it's quite a cheap build as well, so you have to be careful if you're thinking about using this portably or taking this on the road with you. And of course, at this price point, it does lack a lot of the features that you would really want if you want to get into turntablism. It's also quite small, so if you really want to get into scratching and beat juggling, it might be a little tricky for you on this size of controller. The price is around £249 in the UK and around $279. And the good thing is, at this price point, for this type of controller, there isn't much competition out there. So if your route is to eventually end up on two decks, let's say some Technics 1200s, and then maybe a Pioneer S11 in the middle, then it's a great entry price point for you to be able to work your way up to that equipment and that skill level. Overall, I give this a rating of 4 out of 10. It's just very, very niche. And I think if you are going to commit to this style of DJing, I would try your best to go in at something a little bit of a higher price point, maybe like the Hercules T7, which we'll touch on a little bit later in this video. Moving on to this, the DDJ Flex 4. Who's this for? It's for beginners looking for an easy to use, budget friendly controller. And if you're new to DJing and want something intuitive to start, the Flex 4 from Pioneer DJ could be for you with its easy user face and its variety of DJ software to get started right away. So this is probably the most popular DJ controller on the market. Let's talk about some of its pros first of all. So it's got beginner friendly features just like the Flex 2. It has your smart fader and your smart CFX. So you can create some really interesting and cool transitions and mixes right out of the box with very limited experience. The most impressive thing and my favorite feature, it does have dedicated loop controls. So if you're thinking about becoming a club DJ eventually, maybe on a set of CDJ 3000s, you're going to want to start using loops, especially if you're mixing a lot of electronic music. It's extremely lightweight and compact, so if you want to throw this in a backpack and mix on the go, on a train, on a plane, or just take it to some house parties, it's absolutely perfect for that, and it's actually built with that in mind. And this has an integrated sound card, which means the audio quality is much improved from some of the other controllers in this market at this price point. And unlike the Flex 2, it does have some dedicated outputs for you to plug directly into speakers. Meaning again, if you're going to different types of venues or going to house parties with your friends, you can just put a phone or cable into a set of speakers and start DJing straight away. I also love how it is USB-C powered as well, which means you can set up with any modern sort of technology, iPhones, iPads, laptops, and you don't have to carry around any bulky power adapters. There's a few cons to this though, especially at this kind of price point. It doesn't have dedicated stems controls function on the actual software itself, which some of its rivals do have. The Serato integration isn't as seamless, just like with the Flex 2. It's more of an oversight. The smart fader and the smart CFX are a little bit redundant inside of Serato. And although it's packed with a load of performance features, I think when you're a beginner, you're going to be doing a lot of time staring at the screen to see what's going on with all the effects, which might be off-putting if all you're trying to do is focus on getting your timing and your beat matching correct. The price of this is £279, around $300 in the US, which I think is a really good price point. However, it does bring in a few other rival options. Other options in this price point are the Numark Mixtrack Platinum FX, which has 4-deck layering, large 6-inch jog wheels, and 16 performance pads. Or for a little bit more, there is this, the Numark NS4 FX, which is an excellent controller. It does have 4 channels, which a lot of people get into DJing for. You'll see your favorite DJ online mixing 4 decks. You don't want to spend £3,000–4,000 on 4 CDJs. So a lot of DJs are now looking to controllers to get 4 channels, and this might be the answer. The only downside is it is designed for Serato, so it doesn't have any record box compatibility, but it does have hot cues, auto loops, fader cuts, sampling. Like I mentioned, it's got the 4 channels, and it's got these paddle effects as well, which a lot of DJs really like. Like I say, this is around $100 extra, but it is something to think about when making a purchasing decision or upgrading. So overall, I'm going to give the Flex 4 a whopping 9 out of 10. And it would have been a 10 if it had stems controls on it, but in its defense, when this was released, the integration with stems and Rekordbox and Pioneer DJ in general wasn't anywhere near where it is now. So I'll let it off for that. But it's one of the most popular beginner controllers on the market for a reason. It's super flexible. It's got all the features you need. And for a price point of under £300, $300, there's not much more you need. If you're just getting into DJing, this is all you need to get started. And if you want some more information on the Flex 4, again, I will leave a getting started with guide in the description of this video. Another comparison is the Hercules Impulse 500, which has RGB pads, a better build quality, and an intelligent beat system to help beginners with beat matching. However, it doesn't work with Rekordbox, so you are limited in terms of software. Okay, moving on. We're going to talk about the GRV6, but first of all, you might be wondering why we haven't included the Flex 6 in this video. Well, there's a few key reasons. Firstly, Pioneer DJ / Alpha Theta have discontinued the Flex 6, meaning it's no longer part of their active lineup. Secondly, we genuinely did not like that controller. While it introduced some features like merge effects, they didn't work as well as it was advertised. And the overall build quality was quite cheap and low end. It was positioned as a mid-tier controller, but in reality, it just lacked that durability and refinement that was expected at the price point. In my opinion, this GRV6, this should have been the Flex 6 Mark II, or it just should have replaced the Flex 6 in general. So let's get stuck into the benefits, the pros, the cons of the GRV6 and the price point. So who is the Flex 6 for? It's basically for DJs wanting to explore live remixing and push the boundaries of traditional mixing. So if you're someone who enjoys making mashups, unique edits, remixes on the fly, this might be your perfect controller. It also has a similar feel to a CDJ 3000 layout. So some of the pros on the GRV6 are, of course, these large sized CDJ 3000 style jog wheels. I really like the layout of these. You've got the performance features at the top, just like I mentioned with the CDJ 3000s, and there is just a bunch of features going on with this controller. You've got dedicated loop effects, you've got a 4-channel layout, so it's dual layered. You can go between deck 2 and deck 4. You've got these advanced pad modes like hot cues, keyboard mode, stems, pad effects, beat jump, beat loop, sampler, key shift. You've got these DJ MFX style beat effects as well here, which I absolutely love, which you'll find in any professional DJ booth on any of the DJM style Pioneer mixers. And of course, you have this unique feature along the top, which is the groove circuit. Now this is where you can get really creative and make your own mashups, swap out drums, experiment with drum rolls. You can even go onto the Alpha Theta website and download different types of drums to come in here, from house to techno to jungle. But with all them features and all them pros, there is downsides that come along with that. Some of the cons to this controller are, if you are around this price point and you're a beginner, all of these features may be totally confusing for you. So if you've seen this online, you've seen the reviews, and this is your first time getting hands-on with the equipment, all of this stuff like the groove circuit, all the different pad modes, slip mode, all these beat effects can literally be too overwhelming for you. And while I like the groove circuit, it isn't great in practice. It's good, and it is a great way to start thinking differently about music. But what I find is when I'm putting in drums and adding in drum samples, the drum samples sound way too clean for the actual tracks. So there's a bit of a disjoint when you're actually performing them live. I also think that for the price point, this is a very strange gray area. So the price of this controller is around £719 in the UK. And that's a strange price point to enter the DJ market, because once you've gone from what we've looked at, like your Flex 2 and Flex 4, you then want to start looking at your super pro equipment that we're going to come on to. This area of the market is kind of a strange one. Are you a pro? Are you a beginner? Are you intermediate? And if you take this groove circuit off, would this still be a popular controller? I'm not sure. I do love the CDJ 3000 layout and this kind of DJM style. Maybe the groove circuit is just a little bit of a gimmick. How many DJs are actually really going to use that if you're taking this to a gig? Let's talk about the other options in this price point. You've got the Numark Mixstream Pro Plus. And the Pro Plus has built-in Wi-Fi, so you've got access to all your streaming services right on the unit. It's got Engine DJ embedded, so you can DJ without a laptop, and it's got built-in speakers with volume control for home use and practicing as well. You've also got the Tractor Control S4, a 4-channel DJ controller that offers a lot of versatility. It's got haptic technology in the jog wheels. It's got motorized jog wheels as well. And some of the key features are it has RGB LED rings, high color res displays, it has DVS support, it has Pro outputs, and it works seamlessly with Tractor Pro 4. And finally, you've got the Reloop Mixon 8 Pro that has enhanced jog wheel display, 4 FX pedals, dual USB audio interface, large performance pads, and it comes in at a similar price as well. So there are many options at this price point. Overall, I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. I think that if this had come without the groove circuit, this would probably be an 8 or a 9 because I just love the ability to have a similar CDJ 3000 A9 layout. I just think that the groove circuit may be a bit of a distraction and maybe a bit more of a gimmick than it is helpful towards DJs, although I do love the creative outlet of it as well. Next up, we are getting heavier. It is this, the DDJ FLX10. Now, who is this for? This is for pro and advanced DJs who want a near club setup. If you're looking for high-end Pioneer DJ controllers before stepping into full CDJ territory, then this is probably the way to go. If you are a fan of our channel, you've probably seen my mixing, my recent transitions videos are generally done on the FLX10, and that is for good reason. It's packed full of all the features you could possibly want. And when I'm making tutorials or transition videos or mixes, I like to switch between Serato and Rekordbox, and this integrates really well with both software. There's not really any limitations to creativity with this. So all in all, it's a great package as a DJ controller for your advanced, your pro DJs. So let's talk about the pros of this controller. Well, you've got these huge jog wheels, reminiscent of the CDJ club layout. I love that you get onboard display information with the LEDs in the middle of the jog wheels. One of my favorite features is having the access to your stems. I'm a huge stems user, and having the stems at the top of the controller, being able to isolate drums, vocal, instruments, or a combination of all three is super important to me. You've obviously got your dedicated loop controls at the top there as well, and then these large performance pads, which were a lot of fun to use on the previous model, the DDJ 1000, and everything just feels super familiar for me from that controller as well. You've got your Pro XLR outputs on the back, which is absolutely essential, especially at this price point. And you've got a unique feature, which is this FX part select, which will basically allow you to control your DJM style effects and just apply it to drums, vocal, instrument, or a combination of the three. So what are the cons of this controller? Well, it's pretty heavy, right? It is quite heavy. So if you are a working DJ, you're going to need a carry case, and don't be walking too far to your gig because it is quite bulky. The Serato integration isn't perfect on it. If you think about the previous models, you had the DDJ 1000 and you had the 1000 SRT. And the reason it doesn't really match up this time because they've gone for one controller controlling two different software, but the pad modes don't equate to what is on screen and what you're controlling on Serato perfectly, which is why in the previous model, they had the SRT version built specifically for Serato, so everything made sense with your software. Apart from that, I'm really struggling to find any downsides to this controller. It is one of my favorites. It is probably my go-to in the studio here. Overall, I'm gonna give the FLX10 a 7.5 out of 10. But let's talk about price point and some other options on the market. So the price of this in the UK is around £1,250, and it's around $1,600 in the US. Now, the problem the FLX10 has at this price point is it starts to bring in some standalone controllers into the market with it. So you've got the Denon DJ SC Live 4, which is pretty much bang on the same price point, but you do get a lot more features. You get access to Amazon Music, so you can stream millions and millions of songs right out of the box. It's powered by Engine DJ standalone. It has true 4-channel standalone capability. It's got built-in Wi-Fi. It comes with a Serato DJ Pro license. It has a 7-inch HD touchscreen. It's got onboard speakers for just practicing at home. And it's got your high-res displays on the jog wheels as well. So if it's features you're after, that might be the way to go for sure. And you've also got the Rain 4 too. That is a very similar controller. It looks pretty much identical, and it's around a similar price point to the Flex 10. On your Rain 4, you've got an internal effect suite with 22 main effects, a 4-knob control channel effects. You've got dedicated instrumental, a cappella, access buttons. You've got stems pad mode, and you've got the exclusive stem split feature, which I really like. You've got 16 performance pads with OLED screens, and you've got two 8.5 high resolution static platters with full color center display. Now this is just for Serato, but if you are a open format, turntablist, battle style DJ, that might be a better option. Rain are known for building really high quality equipment that lasts a very, very long time. Finally, we've got the DDJ Rev7. Who is this for? This is for serious scratch DJs who want a premium battle style controller with motorized platters. The Rev7 brings a feel of a traditional turntable into a portable format for DJs. So we don't have one in the studio, but we were one of the first channels to get hands-on and put a live mix out there. So we've had this in studio for a long time, and we absolutely fell in love with this controller, especially being from a turntablist background. So let's talk about the pros to this unit. Of course, you've got the high resolution LCD screens on the jog wheels. You've got motorized jog wheels with real vinyl feel, which simulate turntables. You've got high resolution LCD screens on the jog wheels as well for track feedback. You've got the industry standard Magvel Fader Pro for ultra smooth scratching. You've got pro outputs, of course, and you've got excellent integration with Serato DJ Pro, including your stems controls. Let's talk about some of the downsides to this controller as well. It is heavy. This thing is so heavy that you're not going to be wanting to carry this around too much, but if you are an event DJ, you're gonna have to be loading this in and out of a van, and it is really, really heavy. The next con is the motorized platters. Now, when we first got our hands on it, our initial concern was that you can just lift on and off and replace these jog wheels and the slip mats that come with them. Now, it feels like to me that over time, these are going to suffer a little bit of wear and tear. So that's just something to be mindful of. Unlike its rival, the Rain 1, it's not built in really well into the unit. You can just lift off and replace them, and that does concern me in terms of longevity of this controller. And the final con is the price. This thing is expensive. Coming in at around the £2,000, $2,000 mark. This is for your pro turntablist DJs. And there are two main rivals I want to talk about. First is the obvious one, which is the Rain 1. Now, this is probably the reason that the Rev7 exists anyway. The Rain 1 was first to market. It was the first controller with moving platters. So it was definitely the inspiration in the evolution of the Rev7 for sure. But you can get a Rain 1 now for basically half the price of a Rev7. It's built like a tank. You've got no issues with build quality over time. And if you're not bothered about having a screen on the unit, this is absolutely perfect for you. It's got the 7.2-inch motorized platters. You've got that ultralight Mag 4 fader, dedicated loop controls, multi-mode performance pads, including Serato scratch banks, and of course your pro outputs, and integrates perfectly with Serato DJ Pro. And then you've got the Hercules DJ Control Impulse T7, a product that is, first of all, outstanding. A product that is super affordable, and I guess maybe it kind of goes under the radar in terms of its feature set as well. This product is £500, around $500, which is insane. And it doesn't feel cheap at all. We've had it, we've reviewed it, we've put mixes out on it, and it feels like a premium DJ controller. It's got your two motorized platters. It comes with replica vinyl felt slip mats. You've got your large 10cm tempo faders, the same as on real vinyl DJ turntables. On the central mixer, you've got 3 EQ knobs, a gain knob, a filter knob per deck. It's super lightweight and easy to transport, and perfectly integrates with Serato DJ Pro as well. So overall, I'm going to give the DDJ Rev7 a 7 out of 10. And to put that into context, I would probably give the Rain 1 a 9 out of 10, and I would give the Hercules T7 a 10 out of 10. As much as I love the Rev 7, I think the other options for the price point take the win for me. I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments. What would you rate every one of these controllers? I'd love to see your ratings in the comments and discuss any other options that I may have missed out. In the comments and in the description, I'll leave a list to all our free DJ lessons and courses that relate to all of the DJ equipment that we've discussed. And if you loved this video, you'll probably like this one even more.